interaction with somebody, they want to tell me about them, right? And what I really care about is what they can do for me. Think about how you do business. Think about how you do business, and I don't mean inside of your operation. Think about how you make a purchasing decision. I don't care if it's an automobile. You know, I just bought a new car. My friend's a car dealer. I said, Tom, I got to do this because I see the industry suffering, and I want you to be able to still afford your nice new house. You know, he's got a beautiful house, like 6,000 square feet, all gated, 500 acres in paradise. He said, why are you really doing this, Tom, Paul? I said, I just want to help you out. You know, I care about your wife and your kids and all this other stuff, right? Because these car dealers, they don't care about you when you come in. They're trying to make a quick transaction, right? They're going to tell you all this rumbling. Think about your best experiences when you bought something. You're going to buy things from people who you think really care about you and can solve your problems. True or false? You're not going to do business with people because it's good for them. So the key is understanding how to architect your sales process and understand your own company and understand that DV portion there, right? The Q comes automatically if you get the DV part right. The Q is the part you don't ever have to worry about. Everybody worries about the Q first. They worry about the price first, and they get all clouded, and pretty soon they forget what their own value proposition is to the customer. And I got to tell you something. If I would ask the 4 people that I somewhat embarrassed to stand up and tell me what their value proposition is, I won't do it to you so you can be comfortable, but I'll bet you the sales pitch is strikingly similar. Strikingly similar. Now, Ken said, understand your competitor. And boy, I understand that rationale. But I got to tell you something. I don't really give a damn about my competitors. They don't influence what I do any day. I don't worry about what they're up to at all. I try to pay attention because I want to be educated and I want to be informed and things of that nature. So it's not that I'm sleeping and unconcerned with changes, right? But I am unmotivated by trends and popularity. I'm deeply motivated by doing the right thing. I'm deeply motivated by getting up every single day and solving my customer's problem, and sometimes I'm going to solve problems my customer doesn't even understand that they have. I'm deeply motivated by those issues. I am not interested in flavor of the month. You know who was? There's a company in Manhattan that was deeply interested in what their competitors were doing. Actually, there's 2 of them. One was Lehman Brothers. Another was Bear Stearns, right? They had these cool, awesome, you know, these poor people that had bad credit, couldn't afford a house. They would offer them cheap financing. And they would remove the need because they couldn't afford it, and they didn't have enough income, and they didn't have a good enough job, or, you know, they didn't pay their bills on time. So these guys had, I mean, it's a brilliant plan. Think about this. They said, we will give you a loan where you only pay interest for the first 3 years. Then we're going to raise your interest rate, and then we're going to force you to start paying some principal. And, you know, don't overlook the fact that, you know, that's going to double the amount of monthly payment. But it's okay. These are called subprime mortgages, right? And then they securitized them. They took all these crummy loans that anybody with an IQ above 11 could figure out doesn't make sense. They put them into a bucket, and they call them asset-backed securities, and by God, it has to work because real estate is only going to go up. Now, a lot of people here with gray hair, right? How many times have you seen a cycle? Any of you seen a cycle in the real estate market where sometimes it goes up, and then other times it corrects and goes down, but we've broken the mold. It's only going to go up from now into perpetuity. Right? So Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns, everybody was doing it, and they were smiling and giggling and saying, oh gosh, this is fun, and it must be right because everybody else is doing it. So they were clearly influenced by their competitors, and guess what? Their companies imploded all in the same, you know, isn't it cool? All in the same week, the same month, all these companies just disintegrate all at one time because they were following each other off a cliff, and they didn't week. I can't even tell you the year, but I can tell you the outcome. And he shorted it. He was completely unknown at the time. So today the SEC sues him. That son of a bitch profited by applying some common sense. Right? Now their case is all soaking wet, I promise you that. But the point is, don't pay so much attention to your competitors that you do what they do, because you're not them. And you've got to create your value proposition based on what you do.